Welcome to episode 4 of our Crossley 124 radio. So today, before we install this capacitor box that I showed you, I decided I was going to take out the volume/volume pot and test it. And I was getting really inconsistent readings, and I want to show you what I found. So hopefully it'll help somebody else. So I was able to take it apart, which I've done, like so. And you'll see it's really simple. There's just a piece here that rides against this this rail, which I'll talk about in a moment. So really nothing special there. It's cleaned and everything. But this is what I saw when I first opened it. So I'm going to point this out because this is helpful. You see here, this is all copper exposed here, and over here it's dull. Well, this is a wire-wound potentiometer. It's made by Clarostat. New York City, I think Brooklyn made these. And what's happened is over time, this thing has worn out to the point where the wires that were wrapped around here have worn away. So if I look a little closer down here, you may be able to see some loose wires like this one right here. So this thing is shot, okay? That's the bottom line. So we're not going to be able to use this. And it's also the power switch, right? So taking a look at what the next plan is, I took a look at the schematic. So the schematic, I show that the potentiometer right here is 10 ohms on this side and 10 ohms on this side. Okay? Be right back, phone's ringing. Sorry about that. So this potentiometer basically is saying it has 10 ohms on this side and 10 ohms on this side. That's at least what I'm reading. I can't really read what these numbers say under here, but I think those are just part numbers. So that would tell me that this is a 20 ohm wire-wound potentiometer. So I've taken a look on eBay and all the typical places where you get parts, and I did find a 25 ohm wire-wound potentiometer that is in certified condition, and it was relatively inexpensive, so I've gone ahead and ordered that. That's what we're going to put in place here of this potentiometer. So we've got that covered. And it actually looks very similar to this Clarostat because it is a Clarostat, so that's a good thing. The other thing I want to point out is on the schematic right here, you'll see coming off of the potentiometer, there's a 220 ohm resistor that comes here and goes up to the 27 tube. Okay? So it's listed, I'm not even showing you in the right place. It's listed right here. Okay? So when I look under the chassis, here's what I see. This red wire, which is right here, like that, is the 220 ohm resistor. And it looks like throughout this entire radio, they didn't use traditional resistors, they used all these wire resistors. There's another one here that's broken, right there. So we're gonna replace this with a traditional 220 ohm resistor. The question I have for some of you is this. What is this piece? Right here. See this bar? Now it looks like it could be adjustable to adjust the resistance to dial it in. I have to imagine in 1931 there was really no way to get a value that was exact. So it looks like they install this bar and they have this little clip in the center and they move it back and forth to determine where the right place is for the resistance. That's all I can think of. I could be completely wrong. So before I remove it, because it does look like it goes across these two pins, I'm wondering if any of you know what that is. So if you know what it is, I'd appreciate some heads up on that. So that's the plan here. We're going to replace that rheostat, and then we're going to wire everything up. So my next dilemma is the wires that are coming out of the transformer. Right here, here's one, here. They're wrapped in leather of some sort, like this. Now, I was thinking about pulling the transformer out and rewiring it. I don't think I'm going to do that, but because I don't really need to disturb any of these, so I'm probably not going to. But I just wanted to point out that these wires are wrapped in some type of leather. It's not cloth, it's leather. So it's an interesting piece of history, I guess, back in that time. And you'll see it's a very, very thin wire. It looks like it's a 20, maybe a 22 gauge wire. So I would expect that a power transformer would be more than that, but it's not. So it is what it is. So that's the plan there. Also, what we're going to do today is we're going to connect the tuning cap to the coils. That gets done on this side. So if you remember the last episode, I put the tuning cap on the top, ran the wires through, so we're going to connect it. And then I have to look at this tone control. I assume it's a tone control, and see if that's any good. So that'll be the next thing. So that's where we are. And then the next step is going to be to clean up this mess down here. This is a sardine can that's been taken out of circuit, and there's a big wire mess here that someone did. So we're going to figure out what that's all about. And there's an errant wire right here. Then once we get all that done, we may be able to try an initial power up and see what happens. So that's the plan. Anyway, I have one other thing I want to show you for the end of this video. I'll wait for that rheostat to come in and we'll clean this up, but I'm going to show you one more thing. Be right back. Okay. So one of the guys in my band was cleaning out his garage because he's moving, and he came across this and he said, "Hey Ron, this got your name written all over it. Do you want it?" And of course I did. So let me show you what it is without any further delay. It's a Superior Instrument tube tester, model TW11. I think this was made sometime in the 50s or 60s. And the one thing I noticed, of course, there's a manual, which is cool. Looks like it doesn't hardly ever used. And look how thin it is. Nothing to it. It's a lot thinner than my other tube tester. One thing I do notice is that it does have the yellow powder on these rivets. Right, that's the cadmium. So I'm going to need to address that and clean that. Some of the screws have it. But I'm going to take this apart and restore it. It's in this really, really cool wood case, which has, you know, really nice dovetail joints and stuff. So we're going to preserve that as well. And we're going to clean this up and restore it. And it's a nice little tube tester. It's light. We'll make sure all the capacitors underneath are good. I have no idea if it works, but we're going to find out. So again, it's a Superior Instruments model TW11. And this will be in a future video to see if it works. Alright, so that's it for today. That's all I wanted to show you. And I'll come back when I get that potentiometer in and we'll start moving along. So off camera, I'm going to wire up that tuning capacitor. Alright, have a great day everybody. Thanks.